All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. Before we get into anything, make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. We're at about 70 subscribers right now, so we want to hit 100 soon. That's our next big goal. So make sure you like and subscribe down below, especially if you like this content. All right, so let's get right into it. Hey, Darren, do I have to tell you I told you so again? Do I have to tell you I
Your
told you so again?
the $5 you took from me yesterday told me enough of that. I'm good on that. I'm good on the told you so's.
All right. Well, Luka Doncic is that guy. I've been telling everybody for years he's a superstar. But the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway from that game is we knew Luka was going to get his. We know how special Luka is. Maybe you probably didn't know how hot he was going to be that early on in the game. But the key takeaway from that game was Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie, I don't care what anybody says, won that basketball game. He was amazing in that basketball game. He provided the secondary scoring for that team. He went for 30 for the game. He was unstoppable going to the basket. My bad. Do you need me to turn the lights on?
Oh no, you good. I'm good. As long as I look good, I'm good.
All right, so I probably should turn the lights on.
I don't look good.
Nah,
I thought this light was kind of dope.
nah, you're good. But he went for 30 points for the game. He looked really good shooting the ball. He looked really good driving to the basket. It looked like they really didn't know how to handle him. My boy Brunson, who I thought was going to be in the Dinwiddie shoes, he had a decent game. He started off kind of slow though. He got into it as the league got on. But what I really want to talk to you, I think that was pretty straightforward. But you were shaking your head. So what do you think the takeaway from that game was?
I think it's not even a takeaway from this game. I think that's not the takeaway from this game. I think Dinwiddie is the takeaway for the year. When they made that trade for him and Porzingis got shipped off to I think the Wizards. I
Washington.
think yeah. I thought that this was a great trade. I mean, obviously they was going to sacrifice height, but if they didn't run into too many tall teams, then they wasn't going to struggle. And I saw what Dinwiddie did. Dinwiddie
Dinwiddie. You said it right.
did in Brooklyn without when Kyrie and KD wasn't there their first year when they wasn't healthy. And I was always asking like, who is this guy? Who is this guy bringing this team to the playoffs? So, and that they were a team. I think that's the takeaway for the year. I don't think it's the takeaway for this playoffs, and it definitely made a change for them. But that's what they needed. Uh, you throw that in with the fact that you got Finney Smith and Bronson both showing up. Like, what are you going to do? Like in certain games, you're not going to do. There's nothing you can do. They have guards that can just take you out the game.
And it helps Luka with the scoring aspect. He's not doing all the scoring. It helps him a
Yeah,
lot. And
yeah,
everybody
and
else is basically like a kind of a let's call him a spot up 3 point shooter.
no, I won't even say that. I say, oh, you talking about besides the four that I named?
Besides those three guards
Bronson,
that you named, everybody else is kind of a
Bronson and
spot up three
Dewey.
point shooter.
Okay, I won't deny. I won't overly deny that, but I see what you're saying. Um,
It just
this
fits
is a
really
good
well.
team,
It fits really
but
well.
sorry, but to say the takeaway for the game is for me, it was what the fuck happened to DeAndre Ayton.
That's the person you were looking for.
That was the first thing when I saw that he only played 15 minutes, and then obviously this was a blowout from pretty much the jump. But 15 minutes, that's not enough. Obviously, he doesn't do much when you need threes. But
Do you remember when he got taken out?
no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, because like you just said, that might be the reason why. Hey, we might just need to go smaller, put up 3 point shooters out there, and try to shoot our way back into this game.
It wasn't happening. At the very beginning of the game, Aiton got done in by Luka. I know you remember this. This
Mm-hmm.
just little mid range shot. He got done in on him. I wish we could pull up the play, but we can't. Um, but ultimately, this team just fell apart. That's what I feel like. I think somebody said it crazy. I think Devin Booker is a two, and that's crazy to say to me. But 3 for 14
Wait,
ain't good.
wait,
0
wait.
for
Time out.
4 is not good in the
Cl-
closeout game on your own home floor.
clarify that. Do you mean two as in shooting guard, or two as in like the second player on a championship
Second,
team?
the second best player on a championship team. he just had some miserable shooting in this, not necessarily the series, but last night. And then when you go back to the Milwaukee series last year, it was
Hmm.
games where you're like, bro, stop, get everybody else involved. Your shot ain't going in right away. You need to get everybody else involved a little bit more.
All right.
I just feel
So
like, go ahead.
the Devin Booker conversation is really interesting to me because everybody was so high on him last year and years before and really anticipating him. And because of this series in general, people have kind of started taking shots at him. But I
Mhm.
don't think Devin Booker showed us anything in this series that we shouldn't have already known. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree
Um,
with that.
we've always known he's a high level scorer. That's what he does. He scores the basketball. That's what he's good at. That's what he got drafted on. That's what he did at Kentucky. He scores the basketball. Mid range, 3 point, take it to the basket. He's never really been a facilitator. Don't get me wrong. He can facilitate the ball, but that's not his go to. He's looking to score first and score every time he touches the ball. So Devin Booker having bad shooting nights isn't that crazy. Um, if he's having a bad shooting night, you just have to start going to your other players around them. And we've seen Devin Booker have bad shooting nights. He had bad shooting games in the playoffs last year too. And what
And
did
he
he
kept
do?
shooting. He kept
That's
shooting.
what he does though.
That
He's
was
a
the
scorer. That's what he does. You can't tell a scorer not to keep shooting the ball, not to keep
that's my whole point
scoring the
of the
ball.
reason why he's a 2 and not a 1. A 1, if your shot isn't going, you're going to affect the game in another way. That's how I feel.
I feel
This
what
is
you're
how I
saying,
feel.
and I think the best comparison to make your argument, because I think I'm agreeing with you, is if we look at the other side of the ball. If we look at Luka, Luka, if you look at his stats for the year, Luka is not the greatest 3 point shooter in the world. He's like a little bit under league average. But if Luka's shot's not going, or if he's not failing it, or his shot's not going, he's gonna make plays for his teammates around him at a high rate. He's an excellent distributor of the basketball. He's the definition of making players around you better. I don't think Devin Booker has that, and I think that goes into what you're saying of that he's a 2 instead of a 1.
Yes.
I'm
And I
not ready to
also
commit to that. I think Devin Booker still can be a 1 on a team. We're
on a
really going to
championship team.
on a championship team. We're really going to see it is when Chris Paul. I don't know what's going to go happen with Chris Paul. When Chris Paul leaves this team, and it's probably going to be who's their backup point guard that's really good? Alfred Payton.
Yeah.
Alfred Payton. I said that wrong.
Cameron Payne.
Cameron Payne. Is he still going to be that guy? Are they still going to be able to go this deep in the playoffs? Because Chris Paul is amazingly efficient for what he does as a point guard. From a shooting and assist standpoint, he's amazingly efficient. It's going to be really hard to replace that. Can Devin Booker still be able to take this team deep into the playoffs?
No.
And if the answer is no, you're right. Devin Booker's a 2. If the answer is yes, he's on number 1.
The answer is no. They're probably about to lose DeAndre Ayton the way that was sounding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'll pay him because obviously you don't 7-footers don't grow on trees. They just don't like you just don't find a 7 foot every day. So I would see, but him and Monty, they making it sound like him and DeAndre really had a beef in the game. And it just really was a beef because I guess one of the reporters asked why did he only play 15 minutes, and in 2 words he just said it's internal. Didn't say nothing else. It's internal. And when you say shit like that, that means there's something in house that's a problem, and he's about to have to get paid. So the biggest conversation that I saw today was they should have signed. They should have took Luka in the number 1 pick.
Bro, what did I tell you? When I
That
first heard
is
about
facts.
Luka, they said Luka's the best player in this draft and has the highest ceiling. But they didn't want to pass on DeAndre Ayton because, like you said, you can't find 7 footers every single day. And they invested in their 7 footer, and they got to the finals. Would they still get to the finals with Luka being super undersized? Maybe yes, because we had very high hopes for Luka in Luka's ceiling.
Would they
But
not get a JaVale McGee? We don't know if they will still be undersized. They might just be older at center, but we don't know if they'll be undersized.
true, true.
That's the biggest. And DeAndre Ayton is not a top center in the game. Like the three that come to mind is obviously Embiid, Jokic, and then Karl-Anthony Towns. I would take this one sound like a crazy topic. I would take Clint Capella
Uh,
over DeAndre Ayton.
how about
I would take
Bam?
I would take Bam over. I was just about to say him. I would take him over him. DeAndre Ayton is about to get paid
I don't
for
know,
what?
Darren. They were talking about DeAndre Ayton getting paid last summer after the finals run he had. So I'm assuming they didn't pay him.
We don't know if Phoenix is going to be the team to pay him. Somebody's going to probably pay him, but he is not a top center in the game. He just doesn't strike any fear into these big men. I just don't believe it. I think he's a solid old school center. But I feel like there's other centers nowadays that just can put him
To work.
in a blender.
He also had a really hard time struggling with Giannis last year in the finals.
Giannis, who they play last series before Dallas?
Phoenix? I don't know. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
There was the 1 seed, so they played the 8 seed.
Pelicans. So Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum though.
I would easily argue that that it's possible the Phoenix don't even get out that series if Zion's healthy. Because of how Zion plays so physical and underneath the basket, he's just gonna go up on DeAndre the whole time.
Has Zion had to face DeAndre in yet in his?
I think they have. I think they played each other.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's one more thing I wanted to say about Devin Booker. The biggest comparison people make with Devin Booker has always been the Kobe thing. I don't think we can make that. I think that comparison's out the window. Just from the standpoint, Kobe was a two-way player, bro. Kobe affected the game on both sides of the floor. Even if Kobe's having a bad shooting game, which we know Kobe's going to keep shooting, he's still going to be effective on the defensive side of the ball, and he's going to take away, or hold the other guards, the other superstar, to a decent amount of points. That's
I
another
kind of
thing
see that.
that holds Devin Booker back from being that number one guy.
I can I can see that. I can see what you're saying. That's why my favorite two guard is Klay Thompson. Like he might not play defense like he used to because of the injury, but when he did, he sat in the chair. So I don't know. I don't know. This Phoenix team, I don't know what you do with it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So that was actually my next question for you, because I still really like how this team is really built. My question is, how do you make this team better to make another run at the championship next year? Because I'm assuming this team is still going to have title contentions, title thoughts. You still got to come back better than Golden State. You got to come back better than Dallas now. There's
You
still a
know,
lot of teams
honestly,
that you got to get better than, and they were the
I would.
number one team in the league this year.
It's a swing and a miss probably, but I would try to go get and for nothing pretty much honestly, but I would try to go get Donovan Mitchell
All
and
right,
build a super
so
squad
let's talk about
because
this. What are you giving up for Donovan Mitchell?
I don't know.
You're deaf?
I'm not doing that. I don't know what you have to give up. I'm not the GM. I'm just saying I would go and get at someone the caliber of Donovan Mitchell.
The caliber of Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, Donovan Mitchell is probably the first person that comes to my name because he's not going to do much when you talk. He's not. It's not going to be able. It's not. It's not working. And I don't know who else I could say, but they need. Also, they probably need a defensive piece of like the caliber of a PJ Tucker. Somebody who's like gives this team a defensive identity because the person who's closest to that is either Aiton or Cam Johnson. I'm pretty sure Cam Johnson is mostly coming off the bench. And he plays decent defense, not great defense. They need somebody the caliber of PJ Tucker and try to go get somebody big name.
PJ Tucker's a player option, so if he declines it, he could possibly go there.
But ultimately, that's all I'm saying. They need a defensive player, and if I was them, I would try to go get another superstar because
Ooh, how about Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard going to be on the market.
None of those.
Paul Millsap, Marcus Aldridge,
No. Maybe that one.
Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, maybe that one. But you ultimately you just want somebody who can. Devin Booker, your shot's not going. Chris Paul, you're too old. Give me the ball and let me do what I need to do. That's ultimately what this team needs. Because they're at this point, I'm sure Devin Booker's gonna have shots for days that he's just not making his shots in the playoffs. Chris
So,
Paul is old. He's just not gonna be able to show up in the playoffs.
so it
You
sounds like you're
need
saying they need another high level scorer that can get their own shot.
that's yep, that's it. And a defensive identity player, like a PJ
So,
Tucker, like a Patrick Beverly.
so all the superstar level players that are going to be available. So the only player available that I can see that they could possibly get that's unrestricted free agent is looking like Zach LaVine because he's gonna be a free agent this year.
Honestly, this is gonna sound crazy, but you can get this all in one person if you can go get Ben Simmons and he plays.
That's a big
I'm
if,
not saying
Darren.
he's gonna shoot for you,
No, that's a big
but
if
think,
still.
huh?
That's a big if.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, if he plays, is a big if. But
I wouldn't want to
if you,
bring that into. You have a good
I don't,
culture
I
going
don't blame
on
you.
right
I
now
don't blame you.
in
I don't
Phoenix.
blame you. But all I'm saying is he brings that defensive identity. When Chris Paul isn't there, he can be the ball handler and give people the ball, and he can still get to the bucket himself. That's kind of what this team needs right now.
Okay, okay. So Darren, um, so did you know DeAndre Ayton's contract was a restricted free agent?
Yeah,
All right. So in case people don't know, that basically means um the Phoenix is probably going to offer him a contract. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Another team can offer him a contract if Phoenix wants to keep him. They can match that contract and keep him. So that's a really interesting situation. It depends how much they're willing to
sign.
pay him.
I'll
Or
sign and trade personally. Sign and trade him.
I'm gonna throw another name at you. Two more names: Serge Ibaka, Montrezl Harrell.
Those are cool too.
Okay.
Those are cool. But essentially, they got that with Jameson Crowder, but he's not Jameson Crowder. Jay Crowder. Football.
All right. All right. Yeah, bro. I thought overall, I thought it was an amazing series. It just sucks how it ended for Phoenix because for the most part they had a really good series.
He had a great season,
Yeah.
regular season.
I low key kind of feel bad for the fans because I was watching a local newscast after the game, and they were interviewing people before the game. They were really excited for the game. All of them. It didn't seem like they were nervous at all. They were actually very confident. After the game, I'm not saying they wanted to blow things up, but they were pretty upset of the they according to the fans. This is the fans. The lack of effort put forth by the Phoenix Suns. So I do kind of feel
Specifically,
bad
Game
for the
Seven.
Phoenix fans. Yeah, specifically Game 7.
Yeah, and that's what the biggest problem was with it. Both the Game Sevens. I know we're about to go to the next one, but it was just blowout, and that's nobody wants to see that. Nobody, especially for Phoenix being on their home floor. It was just unexpected. It's just very unexpected.
And
To be a blowout, to lose is one thing. To be a blowout, totally different thing.
those are some really crazy rabid fans. They're very passionate about basketball
Bro,
over there, and
they're
they were
passionate about
checking out the
sports.
game early.
They're passionate about sports. They've been waiting for another win. They've been waiting for the Phoenix Suns or the Cardinals. And look at their situation right now. Great regular seasons, both of them. Cardinals had a good regular season too. And then they fall off in the playoffs dramatically. How would you feel if you were a fan out there of either one of those, of the Cardinals or the Suns? You have high hopes when these are in the regular season, and then things just go. I'm sorry, bro. That's just that would get me as a fan.
Uh,
That
I,
would get me.
I don't think those are comparable. I think the Sun season and the Carter season a little bit aren't comparable. The Suns the Cardinals weren't like the favorites coming out of the NFC like at all. And from what I remember, a lot of people didn't predict them to win that first round game. I did because I believe I like Kyler a lot, but a lot of people didn't pick him to win that first round game.
Yeah, if you want to talk about picks of the playoffs, yeah,
Expectations.
We have Phoenix beating Dallas and the Rams winning versus the Cardinals because but ultimately I'm just comparing the regular season high
Yeah, yeah.
and then the playoff lows.
But here's the thing, Darren. I don't think it's a playoff low. I think it's literally just this game because for them, they did. It's not like Phoenix had a bad series.
One game on your home floor on a game 7 where people aren't showing effort is enough. Effort is the most pure easiest thing I can ask you to give. Effort. This was a blowout from the jump. Luka scored those 8 points like it was nothing. That's effort. DeAndre Ayton, bro, how many times did they go to the basket and Ayton didn't try to? He didn't have a block. And they were going to the basket. It's not like they just shot threes the whole game and shot jump shots. They were going to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get a block. That's bad. Kyler Murray runs the whole regular season and then he decides not to run in the playoffs. That's a weird switch, man. That's a weird switch.
Yeah. All right, but let's go. Let's get on to the other. Bro, this is we've been
Game.
talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I believe it.
I
We've
don't.
won this game. I do.
Damn.
Let's go to the Bucks.
All right, so go to the other game 7. The other big one is.
Blowout.
Oh man, I have my pictures messed up. I'm kind of salty. All right, so the other game 7 was the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. What's your takeaways from this game?
Um, Tatum showed up in past 2 games, right?
Yep,
Yeah, he
big,
showed up.
big.
And I last time I spoke about him on this, I think the last thing I said was he hasn't had his offensive performance games be be there yet. So ultimately, yeah, he showed up. Um, I gotta give flat out credit to the Celtics spot. They took out the Brooklyn team, who had two of the most skilled players I've ever seen, in Kyrie and KD, in 4 games. Then this one went 7 games, and they closed it out on their home floor. And they also had to win a game on Milwaukee's floor. I think this was just impressive. This is just impressive. This team is very shocking to me, and they're very deep. They're deep. Ultimately, though, I do think this series would have ended a little differently if Chris Middleton was there. But I'm not going to hold that against the Celtics. I just think Milwaukee has to get better and get healthy next year because, like Rob said, their window with Giannis is right now. So people can't be getting hurt in the playoffs. With that being said, Boston, great job.
I told you. I think the last time we talked about the Boston Celtics was going into Game 6, and I said if Jason Tatum is the guy we think he is, the superstar we think he is, he's gonna show up big in that Game 6. He showed up big in Game 6, and he showed up big in Game 7 for them. I think that lets you know right now, no matter how this Eastern Conference Finals plays out, you got to invest in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for the long term in Boston. I think it's
Yeah,
official. I think it's definitely official. Once their contracts come up, pay them both the supermax contracts. That's the biggest takeaways I have for this.
yeah. Um, I'm not gonna say their job is done at any level because in the bubble, I believe Miami was the team that knocked out the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals last in 2 years ago, I believe 2 3 years ago, and I'm ready to see that matchup again. So we can go straight to that uh, if you want.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The Eastern Conference Finals. Let's just start with that since we're right here.
Mhm.
So my first question before we get into predictions is who has the deeper team, Miami or Boston? Because I believe the deeper team is going to win this series.
When completely healthy, I'm going to say Miami.
I agree with you, and that's exactly why I believe they're going to win this series.
Yeah. Uh, you got Bam, Hero, Jimmy, Kyle Lowry, PJ, Duncan. Robinson. I'm missing somebody.
They're starting shooting guard right now. His name's C. Strauss or something. I don't know how to pronounce dude's name, but he's a
Let's go
sniper
with
from three.
yeah, man, they got a squad. They just got a squad, and it's a defensive squad. Um, uh, yeah, this is gonna be a good series. This is gonna be a really good series. I'm taking Miami as well though. It's hard for me too because the Celtics they've shown me some shit in this playoffs. I could tell you that. Oh, Victor Oladipo, somebody else I was missing. Um, yeah, this is a tough question, right? Which team is deeper? I'm still gonna say Miami. I just think Miami has their most their six man can go off. Like that's how it feels with Miami. Their six man can either go off or have such a big impact on the game defense, depending on who that person is. Um, I think seeing the matchups of Kyle Lowry versus Marcus Smart is going to be great. Jimmy Butler versus Jason Tatum. I don't think Tatum is going to have a game. He's going to have a game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to have a series slowing down Jimmy like he did Durant. That makes sense.
Yes.
Like he slowed down Durant, but he didn't slow down Giannis. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think you're going to see more Giannis from Jimmy than KD, and if that makes sense, being shut down. I think Jimmy just doesn't get shut down in this series by Tatum. Um,
If
I'm
anything,
really
I
going to
think
be interested.
if anything, it could be the other
But
way around. Jimmy taking Jason out the series.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. And ultimately, one thing I also didn't say with the Celtics, shout out to their head coach for getting them this far in his first season. That shit is impressive. But I also think that this series is going to come down to coaching. I think I'm a big fan of Eric Spoelstra. I've just been a big fan of him. And with this team, I think he has a squad, especially the fact that they got home floor advantage, right?
It
Miami,
looks like they're
they're number
starting
one
in
seed.
Miami.
Yep, they're number one seed. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a great series. I'm taking Miami though, and it's hard for me to say that because the Celtics have literally showed me some shit. Al Horford knocking down threes. Who's the big homie who was playing last night? I'm having a hard time remembering. Um, light skinned homie, light
Light
skinned
skin.
big dude for the Celtics.
Jason Tatum.
Nah, bigger. Like he can legitimately defend a wing or a big man.
Daniel Theis.
Nope. Uh, Grant Williams.
Oh, okay,
Grant
okay.
Williams.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
Grant Williams is who I'm thinking about. Uh, I
Shooting
think
41% from three for the season.
yeah, I think he can have a big series defensively. And I think this is just going to be a good matchup, ultimately. A great defensive matchup. But I could tell you straight up, whoever goes up, whoever comes out this series, they're going to get their ass. Not necessarily, I'm not trying to say. They're going to have a tough time who's going to come out the Western Conference because these two teams are going to beat up on each other bad.
This might sound like a stupid comment. I can see all four of these teams that are in the conference finals winning the
Okay.
championship. I can see all
All
four of them, and I can't. I won't be mad at any of them. I can see a smile on my face for Steph winning his fourth, for Luka getting his first, Jason and them getting their first, Miami getting their first after the LeBron era. All of them are
And
are
right.
amazing storylines for the NBA.
They really are. I will say that. And great coaches is involved right now. I will say that. There's some Jason Kidd, Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra.
Hold on,
I'm
slow down.
sorry I'm blanking out.
Oh, people were talking crazy shit about Jason Kidd these past couple years. Has Jason Kidd finally got his respect as a coach in this
I don't
league?
know when he didn't. When did he not?
The biggest thing was
He,
people would start disrespecting him crazy when he was in Milwaukee. That's when he
why?
was getting shit on because they were
He
kind of
developed.
underachieving. And
No, they weren't.
you remember the ice thing?
No.
He told a player to hit him so he can knock ice on the floor so they can get like extra time for the timeout.
Yeah, I remember that. That's one thing. I'm not gonna hold that against them. The
But
Milwaukee though,
is Brooklyn?
Giannis wanted him still as his coach.
Why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm saying. I don't. I People can say whatever the fuck they want, but
Like
if the
people,
greatest
the
he
same way people are shitting on Steve Nash and giving Steve Nash a lot of hate for
Steve
his
Nash,
coaching job, is
whoa,
the
whoa,
same way.
whoa,
Is the exact same way they were talking about Jason Kidd.
no,
It's the exact same way. They were saying that they're a bad coach. You shouldn't get a job straight from for straight with no assistant coach experience. They're shitting on them the exact same way.
nah, nah, nah. And if you do that, you just don't know basketball. Uh, Jason Kidd moved the ball around at least. He was also pivotal in the development of Giannis. Steve Nash in this past series pretty much had KD going 1-on-1 with the Celtics. Kyrie go 1-on-1 with the Celtics each time down the floor. That's not basketball. Would you rather win the Popovich way or lose the James Harden way, going 1-on-1 with everybody?
What kind of question is that, Darren?
Exactly. That's all I'm saying is that you're going to lose that way. And like Steve Nash should know that.
Are you saying because he played in Mike D'Antoni's offense?
I think that has something to do with it, yes. The fact that they run Mike D'Antoni's offense still, yes, I think that does have something to do with it. But ultimately, you can't dribble out the whole clock. You have to move the ball. Somebody put it perfect like this: Philly got knocked out the playoffs. They're the only team that made a trade in the season, I believe, for a superstar player, James Harden. Right now, every other team that you just saw, that you just said can win it, and you wouldn't be mad about it, they're all teams. They all go 4 or 5 deep. It's not
Um,
a. You could say there's
I'm gonna
superstars there.
I'm gonna deny that. I don't think Dallas goes 4 to 5 deep when
Fair.
healthy.
Even if they don't go 4 or 5 deep, is Bronson and Dinwiddie and Finney Smith? He had one game out, so I'm throwing them in there. Are those not crazy scores out of nowhere for this team
I like Brunson a lot, but he's not as consistent as you would want him to be.
in these playoffs?
Yeah, he's not he's had his great games, but he's not consistent game to game to game. You know what I'm saying? You can rely more on Dinwiddie and Luka game to game than Brunson does. If Brunson shows up,
That's
are you
bullshit,
going to win the
Rob. That's
game? Yeah,
bullshit. That's bullshit.
we can
Because
look at the game
Tatum,
log.
no, that's bullshit. Tatum, we just had the same thing conversation about Tatum, and
What
they're
about him?
representing the Eastern. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals, where he wasn't scoring in most of those games. He wasn't having his scoring games. That's one more point. Bronson might not show up all the time. Tatum don't show up all the time, and Tatum's considered a superstar over Bronson.
Yeah, but that's different levels of. Yeah, but Jason Tatum's considered. Brunson's a really good starter in this league. Jason Tatum, once again, like you just said, is considered a superstar. So that's
But he's
different levels
had
of
games where he don't show up
expectations.
in these playoffs offensively.
Yeah, but you're not. You can't bet on. You're not betting on Jalen Brunson to win you basketball games. You're betting on Jason Tatum to win you basketball games.
But they won games when he wasn't scoring crazy.
You talking about Jason? You talking about Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, he won
Right. They have a
games
good
in his
basketball
past.
team.
That thank you. You just made my whole point, Rob. Thank you. Thank you. You made my whole point.
How?
These are teams who are built to win, not based off of superstars like Brooklyn, Philly, and uh, honestly LA, the Lakers.
I don't still
Those
don't
are
think you can say
teams.
that.
Those are teams that are built off of superstars. There are teams like the Clippers and Mavericks, Golden State, who are you might have the superstars, but we're not saying, "Hey, take us there, make it, let us win us this game." We're not. They're not saying that.
I'm kind of mad confused about your point. So what are we saying about what are you saying about Jalen Brunson?
Very good team guy. Very good player on a team. He's not a superstar.
So what's the overall point? I'm confused.
Teams win championships, not superstars.
So you're saying if Luka has a bad game, he can help win them. The team is gonna be able to win a game when Luka's having a bad game.
Offensively, if he's having a bad scoring game, I'm
Luka,
more
yeah.
than likely he's getting everybody involved, like we said before.
I I see what you're saying, but even if you look at yesterday's game, all their role players, which I consider them a high level role player, weren't on. Like it was mostly Dinwiddie and Luka. Uh, Finney Smith wasn't having a good game. Bullock wasn't having a good game. It took Jalen Brunson a second. Like it was more like the second half before he started popping off.
That's
Um,
cool. They won the game in the first half.
yeah, but that's because of Luka and Dinwiddie though. Their team around him wasn't playing well. The Mavericks depth wasn't playing well. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying?
I
Like
see what you're saying, but I would
look at Luka's
disagree.
assists. Luka had 4 assists. They weren't shooting well. 1 for 4, 1 for 4. Prowl had a good game. 11 for 19. Didn't get hot to the second half. 1 for 3, 1 for 3, 1 for 3. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have a good as a team. They didn't have a good scoring game. Luka and Dinwiddie held it down big. Came out big for them.
There's two
If
sides of
Dinwiddie
basketball.
if
There's
Dinwiddie
two
had a
sides of
bad
basketball.
no, okay, I see what you're saying. They had a great defensive game from front to back. First quarter to fourth quarter. They locked those niggas up.
Thank
But
you.
shooting
As a
the
team.
basketball wall wise, they didn't have a good game.
Okay.
And you got to rely on that you got to rely on your role players to win you basketball games in the playoffs. You do.
I
And
agree.
that
And
could be the difference in this Golden
they could
State game.
also win you the game on the defensive side too.
I, I I look at defense differently. I don't look at defense individual. I look at defense as a team, and they played amazingly defensive game from front to back.
That's fair. I can look at it the same way as you. But if that's the case, the team around Luka and Dinwiddie got theirs on the defensive side.
Yes. Yes.
All I'm trying to say is superstars ain't winning it as much as team. Team built depth. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Just depth in a good team.
Um. Where were we at?
We gotta go to the. Oh, we gotta go. We gotta do the Mavericks and the Golden State real quick.
All right. So, what are your predictions for this series?
I'm still having Golden State win this series. I really like Dallas, and it's kind of scaring me. But the extra rest for Golden State should help them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that they've been here before, also helps them. And I think I think Clay has a better series this series, Poole as well, and I just
Before we
think
move on from Clay, offensively or defensively?
offensively.
Okay. So, at the beginning of the year, or at least at the beginning of the playoffs, I had Golden State coming out beating Phoenix. I think this is a completely different matchup for Golden State just because defensively, I don't feel like they're the same team defensively as their previous championship years. From 2019 to the before KD to the year they had KD. I don't think they're the same team defensively. And honestly, they were a juggernaut defensively those years. They were easily the best team in the league from holding their team to the amount of points they did to limiting transitions. They were just an amazing defensive team. I don't think they're that team anymore. And that scares me from the standpoint of I think Luka is going to be able to get his whenever he wants. Um, I think the best thing they would have to do is put some type of forward, Andrew Wiggins type
That's who
on
they're going to
Luka,
put on them.
because I don't. It's going to be a really hard series for them to guard the Mavs. I think what's going to win the Golden State this series is the Mavs having bad shooting nights. The Finney Smiths, the Kleebers, the other 3-point shooters around Luka losing this series for Golden State. I think that's what's going to separate Golden State from the Mavs. But
I think
defensively, like I said, I think Luka's going to get his when he wants.
Oh, that's crazy. I just think that's crazy. One thing that Luka showed me this past year is that he's a lot heavier, or a lot more stronger than what I initially thought, because he's posting, he's really doing a number on guys in the post. So if he gets his, it's gonna be because Andrew Wiggins is so light, like he can get pushed around. But Andrew Wiggins is the ideal defender for Luka in this team, essentially. You
I feel
don't
what you're
want
saying.
Draymond.
I feel what you're saying, but uh, Phoenix tried that same thing with Cam Johnson, and he was moving around Cam Johnson. I think Cam Johnson is way stronger than Andrew Wiggins,
The difference
and he was
is
posting that nigga up and giving him work.
Aiton is weak. I'm sorry to say it. I don't like Aiton underneath the basket no more. I'm not a fan of Aiton. I'm gonna be honest with you. Him underneath the basket is not a presence on the defensive side to me. Draymond Green is. Draymond Green is going to be there to help contest those shots. That's how I feel. Now, if you say he can't lean off of Kleber or whoever because he's going to knock down the three, I can kind of see that. But I think you throw bodies at Luka the same way the Clippers did that one year. They threw Morris at him, Kawhi at him, Paul George, multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think that's what Golden State has to do, but you do it with your most athletic people. You do it with the Andrew Wiggins, and then Draymond. Try to keep Draymond out of foul trouble, and you figure it out from there.
Um,
Let me ask you this question:
yeah, go ahead.
if Luka doesn't have crazy scoring nights, do they win this series?
No,
I think that is possible. I think that is the thing that's possible. Where they're like, okay, let's take Luka away and make everyone around him beat us. Opposed to let Luka get his and make everybody else around us like lock up everybody else. I think it's going to be take Luka out the game completely and make everybody else around him beat us.
so here's what I'll say to that. I think the Golden State's so good offensively. I think Luka can have those crazy games, and they can have a good shooting nights from their shooters, and Golden State still pull out wins. I think Golden State can honestly come out here and try to outscore Dallas and win ball games. I can see like a 122 to like 118, 115 type games. Those type of games. It's high scoring games from both teams. Shootouts every most games. And the games that are really going to show us that they're not shootouts are those games that we're talking about. The games that Luka doesn't go for like 35, 30 plus. And those are going to be the games that Golden State probably wins by like 15 to 20 points. And it's going to be like, damn, Luka didn't have a good game. They kind of got smacked. I don't see Dallas winning games without Luka being
Luka,
like going plus 30. If
he's
they
not.
win in games with Luka going like 22 points, I'll be surprised as hell.
Honestly, me too.
But saying all that, I am rooting for Dallas in this series, but my heart says you don't pick against Golden State. You don't pick against Steph. You don't pick against Steve Kerr. Uh Golden State in 6.
Y'all gotta look out for Rob because he be changing his picks. Last night he was saying he's not rooting against Luca. So he's last night he took Luca. Now he's taking Golden State.
I'm rooting for Luka.
Beginning of the playoffs, he took Golden State. So he's saying Golden State, but he's rooting for Luca right now.
I'm rooting for Luka in 7, Dallas in 7. But from my basketball pure heart says Golden State wins this in 6 because they can just outscore them.
I hope it's 5.
Once again, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because I can see a couple bad nights and then Golden State cleaning that up.
Being over it. And the thing is, in the East, like I just said, in the East, they're going to be battling. It's going to go to 6 or 7 in that series. Easy.
Did I make a prediction for Miami?
No, let's make our. I think we both said Miami winning it.
I said Miami.
We didn't say. You said 7.
Yeah.
I said Miami winning. I don't know how many games.
All right. All right. Damn. We've been talking for a long time. You got anything else to say?
Football schedules. I'll talk about that next time, I guess. because I've done a little bit more diving on it, and the Rams got the toughest schedule, and the Commanders got the easiest schedule, and there's a lot of in between. Trust me.
All right. Well, let us know who your team is in the comment section, and let me know what you think your team is going to go this year based off your schedule, your strength of schedule. And if we have any, we'll read them off next time on the show. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys hit that bell to get notifications.